You are now within seconds of horror because we are going to be looking at some creepy videos on the internet. And as always, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. I'm sorry, am I the only one that finds this news story about these planes to be strange? And this actually reminds me of another news story that happened years ago involving another plane.
The FAA is investigating a number of false collision alerts at Reagan National Airport. This is the same airport where 67 people died in the mid-air collision back in January. Now, multiple flight crews say they're getting collision warnings even with no other aircraft around. Transportation correspondent Gio Benitez has the latest.
It's been happening all morning. Let me know if you see anything. No one else has seen anything.
An urgent investigation underway after several flight crews preparing to land at Reagan National Airport over the weekend received warnings that they were on a collision course with another aircraft, but no others were anywhere nearby. Listen to the confusion.
We got a couple of traffic advisories, the cautions. We didn't see anybody either.
There's no known traffic between you and the field. We've had multiple arrivals today report TAs and RAs for unknown targets. Use caution.
A source with direct knowledge telling ABC News 6 planes reported receiving those mid-air collision warnings in the cockpit Saturday, 3 forced to perform go-arounds. The traffic collision avoidance systems in cockpits, known as TCAS, are meant to tell pilots if their plane is in danger of colliding with another aircraft. No word on why those pilots were receiving false alarms.
It's a potential major distraction of a flight crew at a very critical time of flight, which is landing. You don't want all of a sudden to be looking for traffic on one side or the other. You want to be concentrating on the runway. So if these are not real warnings, and they haven't been, they're distracting and they're dangerous.
It's especially terrifying because it was at this exact airport where a Black Hawk helicopter collided with an American Airlines plane in January, killing 67 people. The NTSB still investigating what went wrong. Meanwhile, Airlines for America, that's the lobbying group for the major U.S. airlines, will testify before a House subcommittee today, calling for the permanent suspension of some helicopter routes at Reagan. They also want all military aircraft to broadcast their exact location near airports to avoid a crash. Diane.
Transportation correspondent Gio Benitez, thank you.
Now look, when it comes to this news story, people are blaming Donald Trump, they're blaming Elon Musk, they are saying this is due to the federal firings. But this has nothing to do with controllers or the tower. This has everything to do with the planes themselves. It is the plane's TCAS systems themselves that are reporting of a nearby object, saying that something is nearby and it's going to crash right into this plane. And I just find it so bizarre that this is happening as the planes are landing at the exact same airport that a crash happened a little over a month ago between a Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines plane. Could hacking be involved? Yes, that's always possible. But the thing is, this is only happening at the one airport where a collision just occurred. And it's happening as the planes are landing, multiple different planes. People are also theorizing that cloaked UAPs may be involved. But this, like I said, it reminds me of a story I heard years ago, a story by Mr. Ballin, a very popular story involving a plane, Flight 401. The flight crashed into the Everglades. The pilots on Flight 401 all lost their lives. A good amount of passengers on that plane as well lost their lives. Not everybody, but a good amount did. The thing is, the airliner still decided to use the spare parts from that plane crash on other planes, parts that were still usable. The people who flew on those planes with the spare parts, and I'm talking about the pilots, the attendants, even an airline CEO, all said they experienced very bizarre things, very bizarre sightings. One pilot and the attendants next to him all saw the ghost of the captain of Flight 401, Captain Bob, sitting in one of the seats. On one plane, the attendants on that flight all saw the ghost of the co-pilot from Flight 401, and they actually said that the co-pilot told them that there would be a fire on that plane if they were not careful. Like I said, there was even an airline CEO who said he saw the ghost of the deceased captain. There were so many strange things happening on those planes that the planes had to eventually be decommissioned and the parts taken off those planes. And once doing so, all the reports, all the accounts of seeing things and feeling things had stopped. Is it possible we are seeing something very similar to this here? Some kind of residual haunting, where the parts from this crash between the Black Hawk and the American Airlines plane are still scattered throughout this airport. There is some kind of energy left over from this crash, because these TCAS systems, they run off radio frequencies. There was a creepy video back in 2017 where a pilot in Thailand, he recorded this standalone aerobridge not connected to anything, But he believes he saw and recorded ghost passengers walking this aero bridge, and these passengers do not know that they're deceased. Some are even saying that if you look closely, you can see some of them even floating. But some are even saying that this could be some kind of visual trick, that these could be shadows being casted from another walkway with real people. But here's the thing, a crash actually happened at this airport. Airlines Flight 269 was a scheduled domestic passenger flight from Bangkok to Phuket, Thailand on September 16, 2007 at about 15:41 ICT time. The McDonnell Douglas MD-82 operating the flight crashed into an embankment beside runway 27 at Phuket International Airport, bursting into flames upon impact during an attempted go-around after an aborted landing, ending the lives of 90 people on board. There were 130 people total on board the plane. So again, is it possible that the people that we're seeing here are the people that were involved in that crash and they're stuck in some kind of limbo? It does go on to say that sometimes when people pass away suddenly, they don't realize that, again, they pass away and they are trapped in some kind of loop. And I get it. Everything could have a plausible explanation. This could just be the reflection of a busy, brightly lit airport. Yes, that's always possible. But on this channel, I look at the paranormal side of things. Going back to all those stories I covered on Minutes of Horror of people going absolutely berserk over seeing people that were not real, seeing things that were not real. And does it play in with all of that? But in any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.